Enrique Blanco is actually System and Network Global Director in Telefónica. He joined Telefónica 30 years ago after 3 years working for ITT in digital switching software design. He has mainly developed his professional career in Telefónica's Spanish operating business, working in the technology area from 1986 to 1999. He then moved to Telefónica International, where he was responsible for networks and platforms. In September 2011, Enrique Blanco became the Chief Technology Officer between the Global Resources Division of Telefónica in September 2017. He was appointed Global Chief Information Officer in addition to his position in Telefónica SA. Enrique, you have the floor.
¿La presentación dónde la tenéis?
Yo creo que... The presentation. Abajo.
Muy bien.
Things, no?
¿Y cómo vamos pasando con esto? Okay.
Sí.
So, let's start. First of all, amazing your presentation. So it is extraordinary to have the opportunity to look into the sky. So maybe sometimes we do not remember that in the sky it is the past and the future. So, but we are living the present. So, Telefónica has an excellent experience using the satellite capabilities. So we are using in a massive way the satellite capabilities for the broadcasting of video. So this supplier in Spain, we are doing in a massive way in Latin America. As you know, DTH may be one of the main business that we have offering our customers an additional experience using the broadcasting capabilities. So we are using the satellite capabilities as a backhauling of our network, helping us trying to reduce the cost and to massify. But, so it is true that there is in the 5G evolution, and we will be talking in IoT, so one detail that needs to be solved, and need to be solved by the community, so engineers and scientists. We need to define clearly how will be the topology and how will be the evolution of the technology helping us trying to reduce in a massive, in a radical way, the latency. And the satellite and the latency, so in the past had been fighting and trying to offer the IoT, the massive IoT experience for our society need to be solving the latency, for sure the throughput. And this is one of the key topics to cover and to solve. And this is not only about the density, this is not only about the throughput, it is about how will be the topology and how we can use all the levers that we have in the technology trying to solve the massive IoT. Talking about the future. So if you close your eyes in the next 10 years, so it is absolutely sure that we will be deployed more than 100,000 millions of devices in IoT in all the Earth. So if you close your eyes, this means that we will be going up to 20 to 30 IoT devices per habitant in the Earth. So, and this is a massive necessities of communications and so one that needs to be solved, and we are working. I will try to say when we are from the point of view of the IoT and which is the vision that Telefónica has. And this is not feasible if the engineers and the scientists work together. When I'm physicist, sorry, so this is my fault. I've been working with engineers, I see I'm one of them, so, and I learned a lot about the engineers, but so today, it is just impossible to create a group trying to evolve and to innovate if there are not present engineers, physicists, and mathematicians. So this is the real world when we are, and it is amazing how the engineers, the physicists, and the engineers, and the mathematicians, they have a different point to solve a problem. Engineers always ready, trying to do something, so physicists thinking if the problem has solution, and mathematicians creating tools that they are fully convinced that we ever understand what it really does. So this is the real, but it is key for us to understand how we need to prepare our people and our companies, and finally manage it by a financial guy, that it is our pure reality. That we are involved in a challenging landscape, it is a real fact. So there is competition, fortunately, competition. Competition, it is awakening you every day. So new players, people that they are looking at the business in a different way. So digital natives that they are helping us trying to evolve. New ways of business, so there are new kids in town, so very powerful new kids in town, so they are thinking different than we are thinking. And this is not a problem, this is an opportunity. And new customer expectations, so please close your eyes. What are you doing every day when you're awake? So look at your smartphone. So this is the real. So the world is it's evolving clearly. And the new digital native players and other industries are really changing the rules, and they are helping and they are pushing us, trying to change our mindset, change how we are thinking. So, and this is something that you cannot forget ever. Retailers, transport companies. So today, the main company who is managing hotels, there are companies who they don't have any asset. The main asset that they have is the technology. The technology, so it is the main driver that it is helping us trying to manage a huge amount of reservation, bookings, and so on. And they have no asset. So and this is life. So maybe some one of us, when we are thinking to go to London, doesn't matter, so we are going to one hotel. But then young people, they are not looking for a hotel. They are looking for different options. It works. So you cannot think that it is not going to happen. So this is the pure truth, and we need to be really trying to solve it. And you can only do that if you see what's about the IT and the communication evolving. Banks, digital banks. So I don't know which is the last time that you were in your office, in the bank. So you can do whatever. So technology, security, but changes. The world changing very fast. And we are guilty because we are offering the technology and the operations that are helping to the customers with the native, digital, or non-digital, helping them trying to make life easier. And this is not going to change. This will be running faster. So this is not, and you cannot be thinking that it is a mesh. No, this is a big, big opportunity, and you will survive if you think that you need to be part of the solution. So we have clear ideas in all the industry, but clear ideas for sure in Telefónica. Only compete if you understand how the world evolves. It is true that the complexity it is growing. We know it. And what's about the IoT? So the IoT starts in a very simple way. So don't forget, no more than 10 years ago, IoT means one big device consuming a lot of power, connected to the wire, connected to the power line, so with one small SIM, so connected with the traditional cellular technology, 2G, 3G. So we have still millions of these kind of devices. So, and this world, so with these big devices or sensors or whatever, so consuming a huge amount of power, not easy, using the traditional cellular network. So they are connected to a platform that it is managing the services. So, and this is the traditional IoT. But it is not what it is happening with the IoT. So first of all, because the density, the number of devices will be growing in an exponential way. So with the exponent, it is very high. So, and the key it is you need to simplify the sensor. So your example, they're great. So we need to simplify the devices and the sensors. The power consumption need to be below a single AA or AAA. So, and it needs to be 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So without any maintenance, simple. So, and this is happening today. So, and this is happening because you don't need to be connected every day. You don't need a throughput of 20, 30, or 50 megabits per second. You need, if you are working with the technology of 2, 3, 4 years ago, you just only need to be using in the 900 megahertz frequency no more than 144 kilobits per second in a very short timing. And this is all the information that you need to use about these sensors. And this means that we are evolving and we are simplifying the devices world. And this is going very fast, fortunately. So tomorrow, once or fast, so we will have more than 20 sensors, more than this. So, and this is something that it is happening because we are simplifying the devices. And this is when the engineers, they say, hey, guy, for this, you don't need a traditional cellular technology. Let's go to find additional capabilities. Let's go to find additional interfaces that need to be helping us trying to reduce the complexity. And maybe the 2G and the 3G, and maybe the 4G, this is not necessary. And the solution, so I remember the initial discussion in the 5G standard. So it is how we can solve the necessities and the complexity and the density of the IoT massive deployment in the world. So, and the first thing it is power, signaling, simplicity, and density. Density means that in 1 kilometer square, you need to be really trying to deploy more than 1 million of IoT devices. And this means, engineers, signalization. If you don't change radically the signalization evolution, if you don't simplify, if you don't reduce the complexity, it's just impossible to manage these network capabilities. And the latency. It is true that for the traditional capabilities, the latency, so you can be working today with 30 milliseconds, easy to do. Below 100 milliseconds, manageable. Below 10 milliseconds, we are starting with difficulties. Below 1 millisecond, we have a problem. A very, very, very hard problem to solve. And you can say, hey, guy, but 1 millisecond for what? Maybe self-driving car? Maybe we need this latency for self-driving car? Maybe with latency for healthcare, surgery? Maybe we need it. So we don't need it. It is mandatory. So how we can solve it, it is key. And this is the main challenge that the industry has today. How we can build an ecosystem looking to the sky with the satellites. Doesn't matter which is the length of the satellite, so defining a clear topology and architecture, and here I quote, for us, the architecture guys, most of them engineers, it is key trying to define a successfully evolution of the technology. So it is true that signaling is key, but the architecture that will be helping us trying to evolve through a pure IoT network, so it will be the key. And the IoT will be for the industry the main driver trying to build a 5G network profitable. This is not only about technology, it is about profitability. And the services around the IoT, they will be the key trying to push and to go through a massive 5G deployment. And we will need everything, so satellites, chipset, network, signalization, platform, and so on. The Secretary of State said that there is an agenda. So the agenda needs to be absolutely supported by the technology, by the knowledge. So this is the evolution when we're going through the fourth industrial revolution. This is going to happen anyway. But I repeat, this is going to happen in a profitable way. When we are thinking how will be the key, because when the people of the satellite world, they are launching satellites, so we are discussing with them, Hispasat says, we are discussing, hey, guy, what's about the cost of this satellite? How much cost as a transponder? So how much money do we need to pay for this? And they have the business case associated. So nobody is launching a satellite if there is not a business case. So sorry, this is life. But, so if you see which are the key drivers, that the IoT, they will be helping us trying to go faster. It is the healthcare, as I told before. It is the manufacturing, clearly, retail, absolutely, oil and gas. So this is something that it is directly associated to the BMX project that we are managing, security, logistics and shipping, building management, and agriculture. But I repeat, the 2G, 3G, and 4G, they cannot support this. There are some companies, LoRa, Sigfox, that they are starting offering this kind of technology with a very simple architecture, very simple devices, very simple interfaces. But we are evolving because, to be honest, this is not enough. And the solution, clearly, it is the IoT. And the 5G will be, the timing of the 5G, despite Olympics and fixed wireless opportunities, it will be when we need to deploy in a massive way IoT, 5G will be coming. This is because all the industry needs to be ready trying to do this. If there is something thinking that one of you that will be using 5G trying to have 1 millisecond of latency and 1 gigabit per second, this is not maybe the key driver trying to help us to deploy in a massive way the 5G. So this is not the same paradigm than the 4G. So I love your presentation because the scientist explanation is spectacular, but there is one link of 5G future and IoT capabilities. And for me, this is the key that we need to solve. And we need to learn to do it together. IoT has an additional advantage. It is the real-time analytics. So every day you are acquiring a new thing for you. It is getting information about you. So the people of Garmin knows exactly how my heart works. He knows how many steps I'm doing. He knows when and how I sleep. And all this information, it is high-value information. And this will be growing and growing and growing. IoT will be helping really to do the data mining. And this is something that it is extraordinary for the society, but it is something that we need to think who it is using this kind of information and who it is the proprietary and the owner of this information. It is very relevant. The discussion of the technicians and the capabilities trying to manage this huge amount of information, it is very relevant, but we need to solve as a society and at your single people how this information with the IoT evolution will be managed and who it is going to manage this information. These are the key elements of the IoT capabilities. This is a very sample, so we can be discussing days, but devices, simple, powerful, low power consumption, durability, reliability, connectivity. How do you connect these billions of devices to the network trying to manage the information? And I go back to the architecture. Maybe we need to connect the customer and IoT not to the network. The edge computing topology will be helping us trying to manage this. And the IT world and the communication traditionally world need to learn to think as a single team. Today, it is not still happening. And the virtualization, that it is not in my topic, it is one of the key elements that need to be solved in helping us trying to manage. But devices, connectivity, topology, platforms, and please don't think in the platform in a big data center with a big machine managing the connected. No, no. Maybe here in this area, in the next 10 years, you can have more than 1,000 small data centers with the edge computing capabilities, managing all the services that your IoT, that your devices will be working. And in the future, this will be hosted in your home. So now you will be happy. So standards, evolution. In the 4G technology, we have been working trying to define how will be the capabilities, the signaling, the interfaces that you need, that we need trying to fully support all that we can do. All the LTE capabilities, all the evolution to narrowband IoT, all the functionality that we define for 5G, we are getting the functionality and we are landing in our 4G network. Today we are talking about 4.5G, 4.9G. This means that we are including all the functionalities in terms of the interfaces that we need today in the 4G technology. Today, Telefónica only deploy 4G with narrowband IoT and LTE capabilities. It is embedded in the 4G technology. And this is happening today. This is not tomorrow. This is today. But there is some barrier in terms of latency and in terms of densification that cannot be managed by the 4G technology. We need to evolve. IoT needs to be helping us trying to define in the new radio standard we are managing the spectrum. Today, 5G will be associated to the 3.5 gigahertz, but we will be using 28 gigahertz. This means high capability of data. We need it. We need 5G because we are growing more than 80% year over year in data for the mobile, and we cannot fully support with the spectrum that we have today. We need additional spectrum. We need to go to 3.5, we need to go to 6, we need to go to 28, basically for capacity, but engineers, and you know it very well. So if you have a very high frequency, you are very powerful in capacity, but the penetration, it's a mess. We are working to solve it. And the last topic that needs to be covered by 5G with the IoT, it is, and what's about the density? With the signaling that we have today in 4G, we cannot support the density of devices in the IoT that we will need. This is physicist, but need to be solved by the engineers. New mechanism for reducing in a radical way the signaling load. If you apply the technician that we have in 4G, this is not enough, we cannot solve it. We need to virtualize in a massive way all the services. We need to go to the new paradigm of the 5G new radio. But 5G, it is new radio, for sure. It is massive backhauling, and we will need the satellite capabilities. Fiber deployment in a massive way, for sure. And no doubt about this, so we will need improve the capabilities, the signalization, and the latency. Latency. This is my main nightmare, latency. How can I guarantee the latency? And we are following many approaches, but I can say today that 5G, if the business it is pushing, will be a reality. And the timing will be different for Asia, for Europe, when we are ready, for Latin America, and for the States. But the fundamentals, they are in the table, not still all of them solved, but radio and topology and architecture of the 5G, it is key. 5G, it is new radio, and it is pure virtualization. You need to solve for the 5G, the new radio capabilities for the IoT. You need to solve clearly the topology, trying to guarantee that all the virtualized pieces, they will be working in a very, very efficient way. And the third one that needs to be solved, it is how you can guarantee that the backhauling will be really trying to offer these high throughput capabilities that you will be offering your customer. These are the three main pillars that you need to solve clearly. If you don't do it, and this will be a massive CapEx allocation for this. We are ready to deploy the IoT, for sure. We are working with all the industry. And we have a clear timeline trying to offer this to our customer, analyzing when we are from the point of view of the soft and hard, preparing our networks, all of us we are doing, guarantee the interoperability with all the networks. So you know that today we have a huge amount of customers with 2G. This is not about the technology, it is about the cost of the smartphone. So and don't forget that we are operating in all the countries in Latin America except one country. We are working trying to guarantee that all our customers can get access to the technology. So this is something we are using the technologies that we know. We are working with our colleagues of Google, working with towers that they are anchored in the stratosphere, 22 kilometers, with one loan, that it is offering us the possibility trying to offer services when it is just impossible in coast, trying to offer this kind of services. We are using satellites, LEO, we are using backhauling satellite high, so we are using fiber, microwaves, but you know, we are reaching the maximum capacity with the microwaves technology. We are using microwaves over 60 gigas, and this is not enough when you are connecting a 4G, that we will need at least 100 or 200 gigas per base station, and the solution needs to be fiber, it needs to be solved, it needs to be done, so for guarantee that all the traffic that will be done by this base station, it can be managed. And for all this that we are thinking, so I'm really very proud, have been working and learning with young people, with not so young people, that when you are working with them, so you see the eyes are lining. So it is amazing when you try to solve a problem with the young engineers and with the 40 years old engineers. And when you see that they are still maintaining this spirit, this feeling as when they start the careers or when they start in the university. So, and when you see these engineers working, so, and I have some examples, so maybe the engineer by, the key engineer for us, it is Julio Linares, so it is the master of all of us. So we learn how important it is the accuracy, and how important it is the knowledge, and how important it is really understand how you can apply your knowledge to the growing of the society capabilities. But I see now the young engineers that they are working with us. So to be honest, when you look the eyes of these young people, it is very similar that the eyes you are looking in some people as Julio or Vicente. So, but when you see the people, they are coming now, trying to manage the information and big data, and most of them, they are coming from the mathematician. It is amazing when you see that the big engineers, that they are the most amount of people working with the mathematician, and how see that they are merging the knowledge and the way of work. It is spectacular when you see this. So, and sometimes appears some physicists that they try to help. Maybe sometimes we're successful, maybe sometimes not. But my message is, in the next 10 years, the topology, the services, the challenges of the network, they'll be quite different that we have today. We know it. We know that the society is going to this way. So this is not, you cannot stop it. But if you cannot stop it, push it. This is what we're trying to do. So I hope with this half an hour, you have an additional clear idea what we are thinking about the IoT, which are the key challenges that we need to do and we need to solve, and we will together, trying to be sure that we will be helping to the society to be a little bit more better and a well-being for all of us. So thank you very much for this opportunity.